Ah. 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 Chat. Ah. Fuck, man. Look, I'm gonna be honest. Chat, I feel like absolute shit right now. I look terrible. I feel terrible. I'm down atrocious. But at the end of the day, there's some things in life that are more important than your health, and that's the fucking market, bro. There are some things in this world that matter more than how your health. There's some things in this world that matter more than how you feel, and it's the market. Like straight up, it's the fucking market. The stock market, crypto market doesn't sleep for nobody. It's Twitch, bro. It's the market. The market matters more than your health. And I don't give a fuck what Brian Johnson, crusty vampire ass, has to say. It's like, no. There are times in this world where you should be sacrificing your health for the market. And we're in one of those times. We are in one of those times right now. So look, I'm not going to drag this. Okay. I'm just going to tell you it straight. What happened. I'm going to give you a quick update. And then we're going to talk about the fucking state of the socio-political state of the world, because we have a lot to talk about, okay? I have like an hour to talk about everything, and then we have honestly, a sick geopolitical polymarket trader coming back on, who one of his best trades of all time was betting that the U.S. would strike Iran on February 28th, and he has like 30 bets on markets right now. And so we brought him on 3 weeks ago, and I was kind of like, whatever, on Iran geopolitics, and then now we're in the middle of war, and it's like no longer whatever, it's fucking serious. And so I think he's probably the best person we could have on right now. It also happens to be the case that he's crushing prediction markets right now. So we're gonna have Mep on in an hour, and then I'm gonna go play the new Pokemon game and sleep. But look, we have some serious shit to talk about really quick. I'm gonna give you an update. Okay, I got a PRP injection. I have a type 2 slap tear on my labrum. Serious shit. Supposed to get surgery. I don't want to get surgery, so I got a fucking PRP injection in my shoulder yesterday. Malcolm came with me, and they draw your blood, they spin it like 100 million times, they extract the like plasma or whatever, the platelets. They take a numbing needle, local anesthesia. They dig that shit into your labrum. It's like a brutal needle, the local anesthesia. They shoot it in like all over the place. They draw your blood, a lot of blood, 10, 15 vials. They shoot this local anesthesia into your labrum, and then they take this PRP. They take your blood and they go into your tear, like stick a needle in your tear and shoot all the blood in there. And it basically makes your shoulder doesn't get a lot of blood, so it can't heal itself. So it makes your muscle, your tendon react as if you just tore it. And so it basically feels like I just tore my shit like last night. I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna move on in a second. I'm not gonna lie. I am quite literally in the worst. Probably I've broken a lot of bones. I've broken feet 4 times. I'm probably in the single worst pain I've ever been in my entire life. Right now, I'm probably in the single worst pain I've ever been in my entire life, and it's fucking bad. So, that's where we're at. I had surgery for a labrum tear, and it wasn't as bad as what you did. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna say this is worse than surgery, but it's fucking gnarly, dude. I'll talk about it for a minute, and then we'll talk about the actual stuff that matters. It's fucking gnarly. Like, I had yesterday when I got out, my arm was numb. I couldn't feel it because there was like local anesthesia. I had deep anesthesia in my labrum. But then it wears off. And the thing about it wearing off is you can't take anti-inflammatory, because the whole bit of this PRP is it gives you this like inflamed reaction. So it rushes blood through. So if you take anti-inflammatory, it destroys it. It doesn't work. And so all you can take is bitch ass Tylenol, bro. Bitch ass extra strength Tylenol. I'm probably like 5 grams deep on Tylenol, just crushing it. So that's all you can take. So I committed to a party tomorrow, and for some reason my retarded ass Claude bot was like, "Hey, you'll be good in like 8 hours." Dude, it took me 30 minutes to take my shirt off. So yeah, I'm in fucking pain. By Monday, I'm gonna be fine. And by the way, by Monday, Who was here yesterday? We still streamed yesterday. We did a market open stream. And I think at the very least, we're going to start doing market open streams on Mondays. So this is obviously like a big weekend going into, I mean, look, oil is like almost $100 across the board. Oil is almost $100 across the board. And nobody wants to hold risk. And I mean, look at these charts. Market's about to close. Market's about to close. Look at these charts. Nobody wants to hold risk into the weekend. I guess we just closed. Nobody wants to hold. I don't even know what time it is. I forgot we're fucking so late. Nobody wants to hold risk into the weekends. And look at these charts right now. How we ended up here. Where we ended. Look at these. Brutal. Just brutal. Just brutal. 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 Nobody wants to hold risk into this weekend because we have basically entered fear on oil going crazy. Oil going crazy, just like spiking. First time chatter, what's good, Spiff? Oil going crazy, and then hey, W's first time chatter. Get the boys some W's. Oil going crazy, and then escalation just seemingly happening in the Middle East, and everyone is like, I don't want to fucking hold risk into the weekend. I had a friend visiting. I teach him the TG lore. He's gonna be a first time chatter. Oh, word. Hey, he don't even know Viblet like the real OG. He doesn't even know Viblet's the real OG. Welcome, Spiff. Braver. Welcome, first chatter. Get that boy some love too. So look, this is what I'm going to say before we get into it, is I don't think today's going to be my finest performance, but it is an important performance. And sometimes in this world, there are things more important than your health, and that is the market, okay? It's the fucking market. So, all right, let's get into it. We have about 50 minutes to complain and talk about the market until our homie Mep gets here. So intro real quick is, look, I did this segment. Could you unblock me on X? Why'd I block you? I don't really block random people unless you actually tick me off or I'm in a really bad mood. Why'd I block you? How about this? If you post the tweet that I blocked you for, and I'll do a poll in the chat. Go find the tweet, send a link for what you got blocked for, and then we'll decide if it was funny. If it was funny, I'll unblock you. Yeah, find it. I'll unblock you if it's funny. All right. Now, let's just get right into... The world is weird right now, guys. I'm going to be honest. The world is weird right now. Markets are weak, and we are entering... It just feels like we're entering escalation across the board. Societal escalation. Things like the Epstein files, ICE protests. Societal escalations across the board. Just antsy. And we are deep into this meme politics thing, which I just think is a disaster. I don't know what happens as a result of this. It's hard to think 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. But something about the U.S. being at war actively in the Middle East and posting like TikTok edits about it on Twitter sits with me the same way that them posting catch 'em all Pokemon edits about ICE sits with me. And it's bad. It cannot be good. And this is the latest one. We'll just watch it. Justice the American Way. We'll watch it.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Welcome home, son.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
What will you do without freedom?
Mavericks inbound.
You can't conceive of what I'm capable of!
Finishing this fight.
Hey, bro, it was $100. Like, I'm not even sure it's clear we're winning this war.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
I am the danger.
Yeah.
That was hard. I'm not gonna lie. That was hard. That's a Pete Heck said that quote.
I am the danger.
Yeah.
Time to find out.
Maximum effort.
Here it comes. Now end this!
Flawless victory.
I mean, bro, I don't even think we're winning the war. I mean, you post that and this shit looks like this. It's like, dude, you can't post that when Spy is sitting on support by a fucking, I mean, look at this close. Just a brutal weekend close. Look at this close. You can't post that when we're sitting here on the weekly Spy. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously. Look, I'm one of these. You can't post that when we're circuit breaker ready on Spy. I mean, we are Monday circuit breaker ready on Spy. You cannot post that. Followed by this. Make America great again. And by the way, I saw this and I said, what? What is this? And then little did I know, Pokemon just launched a new title and it's a Stardew Valley X Pokemon. And I said, what? And so I run to my luggage. I still haven't unpacked since I moved to New York. I furiously unpack. And I open my Switch and it's like not supported. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean not supported? You need a Switch 2. And so I got one. I got a Switch 2. I DoorDash. I DoorDashed it. Yeah. That's the thing is like, say what you want about our economy, but the fact that you can DoorDash a Switch 2, shit got here in 45 minutes. Shit got here quicker than breakfast in 45 minutes. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, is this safe? Can you DoorDash a Switch? And Claude's like, it says check out, doesn't it? I'm like, all right, it does say check out. Yeah. It says, yeah, it looks like you fucking can. I'm like, oh, all right. But what I will say is that if you didn't know for a fact before, Trump admin is probably reading your tweets. Like there's a non-zero chance that the admin is reading your shit posts when you make them. Because, I mean, they are as tapped in as you could possibly get as it relates to current events and what's happening. I mean, they are reading your... I mean, look, I'm going to say with guarantee they saw my tweet yesterday. I'm going to say something crazy. You want to know how powerful Twitter is whoever's running Iran right now, which is unclear, they saw my tweet yesterday. I feel like Iran's watching Professor Jang videos and doing whatever he says. Whoever's running the country saw this tweet, 100%. And if they weren't doing it, they're doing it now. And they're doing it now if they weren't doing it before, they're doing it now. 100%. So, one of my best tweets of all time. Whoever came up with this is a genius. And Brian Johnson's fucking wrong. Okay, modern situation intoxicates you. It degrades your attention and decision-making capacity. So, TG, when are we shorting oil? Dude, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if we are. As much as I hate to say that. I don't think that we are. I think we're going to sit here and I'm going to trade what's in my vicinity, and oil is just not one of them. But I'm going to monitor it. But we're not shorting oil. What we're going to do is we're going to start with Anthropic. Okay, let's start with Anthropic. Let's get to war, and then let's talk shit about crypto. Okay, let's do that. I think that's how we should do that. And our friend here, Dario, has found himself in a fucking pickle. Okay, Dario's found himself in a pickle. And chat, tell me where you're at. Are we flipping sentiment on Dario and Anthropic? Because I kind of am. When this debate or tension with the U.S. first started, I'm like, dude, Pete Hegseth is a retard and Dario's right. They have God internally. And then as time has gone on here, I've been less and less confident in the comments that Dario is making publicly. And it sort of climaxed with Trump and Hegseth declaring Dario a supply chain risk with Anthropic, which I thought was insane. That was crazy. I thought that was crazy. I really did. I still think it's wrong. I think they probably will walk it back and they'll make up some kind of deal. Dario comes out and says, we don't care that we're a supply chain risk. Dario then comes out and releases this memo, which even if he was in the right before, dude, the memo was just really stupid. It just was stupid. And we'll read it in a second, but he released this thing yesterday or 2 days ago and basically says that, what's good, Jackson? He releases this memo and he basically says that Trump hates us because we don't suck his dick and Sam Altman does. And it just was such a useless, nothing to gain, everything to lose, and not even risking aura to gain, just losing it. Like, there wasn't anything to gain. And whether he's right or wrong is completely irrelevant. Like, it could not be less relevant if Dario's right or wrong about this. That's just not what you, it's not what you say publicly. You can't say that. Why would you say that? I think that he's already said it without saying it, because where we stood is that narrative publicly was, holy fuck, Dario's standing up to Trump admin in the White House. He told them to go fuck himself 5 times. Sam took the deal. Sam's a sellout. Sam snaked Dario. Like, this was the narrative. Sam snaked Dario. Dario's a Chad. But then you post this memo and it just isn't the best look. And then he's going on this media tour right now. He's got to stop doing interviews. Seriously, whoever his PR team is, stop doing interviews. You start doing these interviews and all of a sudden people are just like, what's going on? Like, I think that's the feeling from the outside is what's going on here. And so let's go through it a little bit. We have a clip. Let's go through the new content that we have on it and like give me your take on what you think. Here's a clip first, which is, by the way, funny full circle moment. This guy's a Mill Michael, who, if you remember, we were reading a Mill Michael's tweets from like last Wednesday when this was first escalating. And this guy was freaking out and calling Dario woke, Anthropic, like da-da-da-da-da. Thanks, Malcolm. Let's just watch. I haven't seen it yet. Let's just watch it.
It was after the Maduro raid. One of their execs called Palantir, who we buy themselves through, and asked them, was our software used in that raid? Which is, by the way, classified information. Anyway, so we're trying to get classified information and implying that
That's a valid question. I mean, U.S. publicly said it was. The U.S. came out and said we used Anthropic and active. I mean, like, to be fair, they publicly said it.
there was used in that raid, that might violate their terms of service.
So they wanted to enforce. This is very important here.
Yeah.
This came out today, by the way. We're going to watch a lot of clips from this today.
Wanted to enforce their terms of service. They went behind your back to try to collect information.
Obvious agenda being pushed here from JCal, but not my business.
To then maybe pull your license for their technology.
But, you know, it wasn't behind my back. I don't want to accuse them of that. Palantir is the prime contractor, their sub. But it raised enough alarm with Palantir, who's got a trusted relationship with the department, to tell me, and I'm like, holy shit, what if this software went down, some guardrail kicked up, some refusal happened for the next fight like this one? And we left our people at risk. And I went to Secretary Hegseth. I said, this would happen. And that was like a whoa moment for the whole leadership at the Pentagon, that we're potentially so dependent on a software provider without another alternative that has the right or ability to not only shut it off, maybe it's a rogue developer who could poison the model to make it not do what you want at the time, or sort of trick you because you have to trick it. I mean, all these things that we know when we were about models, or hallucinate purposefully, or not follow instructions, like some insider threat stuff. So then that culminated in the Tuesday kind of dramatic meeting with Hegseth and Secretary Hegseth and me and Dario, with the Friday deadline. And
so we followed all of this very closely. The deadline, the meetings. We followed all of this. And so after the fact, this memo comes out. Dario memo. And here it is. This was allegedly an internal memo that got leaked after we were done with everything. Like they were already labeled a supply chain risk. They already stood up to the Trump admin. We've been done. And this thing comes out, and it's a pretty long memo, but the main takeaway, one of the main quotes is, the real reasons the Department of War and the Trump admin do not like us is we haven't donated to Trump, while OpenAI and Greg Brockman have donated a lot. We haven't given dictator-style praise to Trump, while Sam has. We have supported AI regulation, which is against their agenda. We have told the truth about a number of AI policy issues, like job displacement. And we've actually held our red lines with integrity rather than colluding with them to produce safety theater for the benefit of our employees. And so, like, I don't necessarily think that he's wrong in the words that he's saying, but what is the upside here? And so he does this, and then kind of like publicly apologizes for it. And now he's sort of on this media tour trying to walk it back, presumably.
I want to completely apologize for this memo. So
you can't drop it and apologize for it, because there's no such thing as a leaked memo, right? You don't send a memo to your like multiple thousands of employee company and it get leaked. It's like, no, if you send this shit, it might as well be public, right? And so if you're gonna send it, I don't think you can walk it back.
So yeah, I want to completely apologize for this memo. So I want to make sure that people understand, right? Like this was something.
By the way, I'm just gonna say, physiognomy looks completely different than it did in that interview he did a week ago. I'm not sure what's going on here. If there's two Darios, he looks completely different than that interview he did a week ago. I'm just saying.
Written on Friday after the following three things had happened. The president tweeted removing all Anthropic services from the federal government. The Secretary of War tweeted designating us a supply chain risk with a kind of broader version of the designation than the
no more interviews. He's too accessible right now.
One that ultimately ended up actually being applied. And then there was this deal between one of the other AI model providers and the Department of War that I think even that model provider later described as, I don't remember the exact words, but
opportunistic.
Yeah, I was going to say confusing, right? So basically all these three things happened within a few hours, in kind of sequence, from each other. We didn't know ahead of time what was going to happen, when it was going to happen. So it was among the most disorienting times in Anthropic's history. The other side of it is, I think Anthropic has an internal culture where I post a lot. Like, some people describe this as a memo. I wouldn't describe it as that. Like, I post things in Slack. I post them a lot. And the culture with...
It's tough because you should be able to speak authentically to your employees, but there's also a reason the group chat has a separate group chat. There's a reason there's the 25-person chat and then the 5-person chat in the friend group. The friend group always has a second group chat.
In the company is that I'm very free, and it's not like a considered, it's not like a real...
Yeah, it's like the stream versus the pit. It's like my Twitter timeline versus the pit. It exists for a reason,
Really considered or refined version of my thinking, right? It's not what I would say on reflection.
You've been very clear now. You've apologized for the memo. Have you apologized to President Trump? Will you apologize to him?
I've apologized to the people that I've talked to within the DOW. I'm happy to speak to others within.
Rockefeller says my friend groups never had a separate group chat. I don't really know how to tell you this, Rockefeller. I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know how to tell you this, honestly. I really don't. But they did. And I'm sorry. Genuinely, I'm sorry, because it breaks my heart to read that message, but they did.
The administration as well.
I'm sorry. feel like I just told you Santa's not real, but they did.
I kind of don't know what will happen in the future, but I'm really happy to.
So that's the interview. So this memo gets leaked. He goes on this media tour and is apologizing for it. Only real ones in here, so I don't care. That's what's up, bro. You my dog, Rockefeller. You always in my inner circle chat. So Dario apologized for leaked memo. Pentagon designates Anthropic as supply chain risk. He says the memo was outdated. He says it was difficult day and apologizes for the tone fair. Says priority is keeping warfighters equipped during active operations. Offers to provide Claude to the military at a normal cost. Includes forward deployed engineer support. Says Anthropic has much more in common with the Department of War than we have differences. And that's basically where we're at here. Here's an apology they wrote. And look, this thing is like spiraled into ridiculous drama, to be completely honest. This Anthropic situation has like kind of gotten ridiculous. But I do think that one thing is clear, which is that AI and these models have become significant, essential tools for war. And we are in the middle of a war right now, which is crazy to kind of say that out loud, but we are in the middle of a war right now. And the importance of these models are being shown in front of the world right now, which bodes well for their economic value long term. Certainly, it certainly does bode well for the economic value long term. Now, I'm not saying I'm like condemning, endorsing war, but I'm just making that point. Let's watch a minute of the All In, and then we can move on out of AI stuff. Let's see.
So
that's cool.
Super interesting kind of side story on what's going on here.
All right, some breaking news here, folks, via Bloomberg. The Pentagon has formally notified Anthropic that it's been deemed a supply chain risk. This has never happened to an American company. It has happened to Russian companies.
It is crazy. Like DeepSeek isn't even a supply chain risk, and Anthropic is. Like, that's wild.
Chinese.
Somebody fucked this up. I don't know who exactly. Chat, who's in the wrong here at this point? I don't even know anymore. Somebody really fucked this up. Okay, I don't even know who's in the wrong anymore, but somebody fucked this up.
Companies, Huawei. And for background, the Department of War canceled Anthropic's $200 million contract on Friday and said they would do this. The dispute came down to two clauses, according to sources, and we have one of the principals here. So we will hear directly from him in a moment. Anthropic had two concerns. Number one, fully autonomous weapons, aka murder bots, as we previously discussed. Dario didn't feel that their technology was reliable yet and wanted some assurances. The second thing Anthropic said was
we'll skip this, honestly,
they were
because we already kind of watched the clip, and we have 30 minutes to talk about war, so I'm down to talk about war right now. Here's what I'll say though, chunky nuts, is that, dude, all Anthropic said is you can't use our shit to kill people. Here's the two sides of the story, just because this has become like the story, and again, I feel like we talked about it relatively early. The reason that's a difficult ask is because to enforce TOS exactly on the middle of war is just a brutally difficult thing to do. Like, how that actually works and like how you determine ethics on a battlefield, I think just gets really messy. And, you know, I don't exactly know what operations the U.S. military is carrying out, but in the middle of a battlefield, not having permission to like do yes or no on certain tasks makes it, I don't know, it's like it makes the tech unusable. Like you can't use it unless you have full control over what you're using. I think that to be true. I think Palmer Luckey had some good takes on this we read. The other side of this, just, and we'll move on, is it's almost like an ethics question, is that the reason Dario is saying no is not because he's ethically against AI, like killing people. It's because he doesn't think it's good enough to consistently kill people, basically. Like, he doesn't think it's good enough to automate attacks long term. And that is like a little bit scary because he's like, guys, no, it's not good enough. And that's his main concern is it's not really an ethics. I don't think it's an ethics concern. I think the surveillance is an ethics concern. That's a different conversation in its entire in its entirety. That's a different conversation, the ethics thing of surveillance. But as it relates to weapons, he's saying it's not good enough. And so if he's saying that and the Frontier Labs don't even fully know how these things work, like again, they're still kind of like black boxes. You put in A, usually you get B, you put in A, sometimes you get C, then you put in A, and sometimes you get like A, B, and C out. Makes it a really difficult spot. And so that's kind of where we land. It feels like this conference is going to drag out forever. I feel like we've basically covered it in its entirety. But the one thing that's obvious here is that AI is like the most essential technology we have to the future of the US right now. Like it just is. It just is. Also, they 100% know how they work. No, they actually don't 100% know how they work. We could pull up some research papers and whatnot, but no, they like generally know how they work, but they fucking hallucinate and they do weird shit and they're not always consistent and it's sort of a disaster, or can be a disaster. It is 100% a black box, like a black box that they mostly understand. Did you see Anthropic say they think Opus might be conscious? Yeah, I did. I saw a Polymarket headline. I didn't see the actual article, but okay. Moving on. Bitcoin garbage, man. This is a tough one for me because I legitimately got excited about the BTC move because I felt like the timing of it was so significant. It wasn't just that we broke out of a range, but it was the way we broke out of a range here. And we're back in it. You were glazing AI to the max a few streams ago. Now you're saying it's ass. What are you talking about? I just said it's like the most important technology the United States has. This is rather unfortunate PA for crypto. It just is. It is. I think at the end of the day, like it basically was just Sailor was slamming it. And I was kind of cracking some jokes saying, I don't care if it's Sailor, but the reality is like, yeah, when it's Sailor, we trade, like we're basically traded the same way we traded on the 97 breakout. And I think the reason I got excited about, average Sailor trade, right? Like we're trading, look, two things look the exact same. Look at these two things. Look right here. Range, breakout. And then look right here. I have all these lines on it, but like range, breakout. And honestly, I kept it cool because you can't get that excited about any BTC move at this point. Like how excited can you really get at, 68K? But the fact that it was trading very well and hit this breakout under max geopolitical unrest felt significant to me. The Mander take was the one I subscribed to the most, which is like, if there was ever a time, it's right now. Let's just fucking rip it. If there's ever a time, it's probably right now. And again, it's Friday stream. We're not going to talk about crypto that much today, but there's some deep, painful humor and irony. This is just the way the universe works, which is that the conditions for Bitcoin and the advancements and acceleration of crypto as an asset class is playing out at a level that is more than we ever could have asked for. Really, it is. It's more than we ever could have asked for. The way that institutional side of crypto is playing, the adoption side of crypto is playing out right now at the highest level. And the speculative side of it is a disaster. There's like some deep, twisted irony in how that is happening. That like here's a good post for you. Right here. The short bear, which is again funny as well, that the short bear is the most bullish crypto poster. You're the best normie tracker for the trenches. What does that mean? Is that like, are you trolling me or being honest? I swear we're approaching the all at once stage. People still fail to realize the use case for crypto is infra, while many are still waiting for crypto to behave like pure software. Once banks have to compete with staking yields, and once banks have to compete with the staking yields, the dynamic becomes self-reinforcing. If one major player adopts it, the rest will likely have no choice but to follow. And beyond yield, the advantages are obvious: faster settlement, stronger security, lower cost, and dramatically higher efficiency. With banks starting to move in and guidance from CFTC and SEC becoming more constructive, the major liquidity pools are beginning to connect: retail capital, bank deposits, pension capital, institutional money. New banks are emerging, focusing on consolidating crypto and banking into one eco. People still view crypto through the lens of NFTs, meme coins, and speculative software, but behind the scenes, it has been maturing into infrastructure. What people are missing is the real money is made by owning the highway and the thousands of boring cars driving on it every day. Stablecoins, RWAs, tokenization. It really is a little twisted, man, that like, if you were in crypto in 2017, I wasn't. If you were in crypto in 2021, 2022, bear market 23, explosion of 24, everything you could have ever wanted is happening. But the speculative side is just getting crushed. And I really just deeply believe, we talk about crypto every day for a reason, that it will fix itself. But the people that feel some pain from crypto right now, I understand it. And it's partly why I got a little bit excited about the Bitcoin move. And I understand why crypto people feel the rage quit, empty feeling. It's like, yeah, stablecoins are winning. Every major institutional player in the world is talking about tokenization. The banks are having to compete now with the neo players. The Clarity Act is going to get passed. Trump is tweeting out crypto. We do have honestly crazy ETF inflows from retail. And the trenches are an absolute disaster. And so it is going to happen, but it's not going to happen on your timeline, is the unfortunate truth. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen on your timeline. It will happen on our timeline because we're going to just fucking be here when it does happen. But it's not going to happen on your like ideal timeline. And so there is some like deep twisted irony. It's like the monkey's paw. It's like adopt. You know, it's like I wish for crypto to get adopted, and then it like gets adopted, and like Bitcoin is like trenches are dead. There's some irony in that. Bro, you are so caught up on the news. I'd be using you to trade meme coins. It's crazy. You capture sentiment really well. Thank you. How much time before the trenches are back? When Bitcoin's back, everything will be back. I think simple. I think it's like that simple, really. Centrini's bear posting, I know. Let's move on a little bit. We're gonna skip some of the AI stuff. We'll skip the meta stuff. This is crazy. I'll cover it really quick. And also I apologize for just like skipping around and moving all over the place. I have a fucking some health today. How much time before Bitcoin is back? I don't really know how to answer that, honestly. I think a lot of the price pain is closer to over than it is starting. But your real problem is not price going down, it's price staying flat. That's the real threat, I think, to like crypto participants is flat. Chop just eats people alive. I'll skip this headline, but it is significant. Is context. So Meta's being sued over their AI smart glasses. Okay. Context. Meta platforms Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses send user video data to company servers. The footage is manually reviewed by contractors in Kenya. Workers reportedly see private moments and sensitive personal details. Face blurring does not always work in certain lighting conditions. Around 7 million pairs sold in 2025, creating a massive stream of human-reviewed data. Meta's terms allows manual review of AI interactions. Basically, everything you're recording on, which I guess you could have assumed this is happening already, but everything you're recording with Ray-Ban glasses from Meta is just being sent to some like data farm of humans that are manually reviewing it. And this is a significant lawsuit. Meta stock actually kind of got crushed because of it today. Let me see. Stock did get crushed because of it today, actually. And not that bad. No, not that bad. On open, it got crushed, and then it kind of bounced. But chat, who wears these glasses? I have a pair. I actually have a pair right here. I don't wear them though. But it is a really small part of the business, but it's just like a brutal headline. I mean, you kind of got to assume this was happening already. But it's a brutal headline. Really, it is. It's a brutal headline. Okay. Let's do this for the next 15 minutes. Let's talk about war. Let's talk about war. It's escalating. Chat. It feels it's escalating. And I think one of the fears of this escalation in the Middle East right now, as someone who's now 5 days into studying geopolitics, is that this isn't really a situation like tariffs, where if the market gets bad enough, it's a lot more difficult for Trump to taco and to say, haha, JK, I didn't mean what I said. I will actually remove the tariffs. I will take back, the thing that I said that caused the market to get destroyed, because there's a pretty significant chain reaction that has happened with escalation of tensions in the Middle East. And the significant one is the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, which has completely ripped oil prices, which we've been covering for a while, right? And what we determined was crude ripping is like a global U problem. And if this thing goes really high, there's a global U problem. That's not what I wanted. I'm crude. Brent ripping is a U problem. And this thing is absolutely ripped. It's a U problem. It's a global problem. Look at this chart. It's just disgusting. Up only, up only, up only. And then crude CO1 ripping is a we problem. And before it was like Brent was up and crude really wasn't. And now this is the chart of crude, and it's just like disgusting. Up, 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 up. Just like rip. And it's now becoming a we problem. And I don't know that much about how supply chains work and how the oil market works, but I think we've sort of gotten to a place where you can't just say, haha, JK. And the market is starting to show that, I think. SPY is starting to show that. Stocks are starting to show that. And people don't really want to hold risk into the weekend. I mean, look, SPY's down 1.3% today, and sort of on a thread here. Somehow software is green. And my Palantir is doing really well, which we could talk about in a minute. Palantir's done well. Defense is doing well. Lockheed's doing well. But everything else is holding on. And everything that I'm reading is that these supply chain issues take like a week or two to catch up. They're delayed. And this is basically what I've been reading, is trying to figure out how significant the oil problem is. And one of the takes on it is like, okay, there's a couple rate cuts priced in. Trump really wants rate cuts. But oil rips, price of everything goes up, price of gas goes up, CPI goes up, which is basically inflation goes rampant and removes the Fed's ability to cut. But the market is positioned and set up for we need cuts. But inflation, because of oil ripping, trades it a way of we need to hike rates. But you can't hike rates because we need cuts. We just did this stupid thing with the Middle East, and now oil is expensive, and it's caused inflation to go up. And you get sort of this like stagflation situation. Market prices out cuts. And it leaves us in a really weird spot, I think. And so I have a couple tweets on it and an all-in video, and then we're going to bring Mep on, who's just like traded this like really, really, really beautifully. Really beautifully. Is the Iran conflict is basically a reverse taco. Trump is actually being extremely aggressive and doing a lot of damage to Iran and Hormuz, but trying to keep markets calm. He seemingly will just keep pushing the envelope until markets tank and stay down and the market forces taco. This was on March 4th. We're approaching that, dude. We're approaching that. He basically has the weekend to go crazy and pull some Trump shit. But if we wake up tomorrow on Monday and SPY is, we're circuit breaking on SPY, Taco is Trump always chickens out. So Trump implements 100% tariffs, market gets destroyed, Trump removes tariffs. Taco is like the Trump trade. Trump ordered the deal, right? He comes out, makes some crazy headlines, says some crazy shit, and then backs out completely. That's Taco. This is the scary headline. Curtis Yarvin says, I fear, and this is something that I think Suspended Cap said, I fear that Trump's first special military operation went so perfectly, Venezuela, far beyond my expectations, at least in both political and military execution, that I convinced him he's Napoleon. Napoleon III was also convinced he was Napoleon. He turned out to be Napoleon III. And so, let's do this. What? I can't type with one hand. Happened to Napoleon III. Yeah, Napoleon III surrendered at the Battle of Sedan during the France-Prussian War. He was imprisoned in Germany, then exiled to England in 1871. You don't want to be Napoleon III. Okay. And so there's a lot of takes I've read that's basically like the Maduro operation being the smoothest, slickest, illest shit the U.S. has done in a long time set us up to feel we could do anything, including this Middle East situation. And it has gotten out of control really quickly. And this is not a 72-hour thing. I mean, look, I've paid almost no attention to geopolitics leading up to this point. I'm an attention trader. Okay, I'm an attention trader. I've been a crypto trader historically, and we started paying attention to this. And even after just watching the professor and the first couple days, Monday, Tuesday, I felt like our consensus on stream was like, guys, this isn't going to end in 3 days. This feels worse than the market is pricing in. But I didn't really know what to trade, so I just longed to Palantir. Now, maybe the trade was obviously just to long oil, but it felt like from what we were watching, like my complete novice self in geopolitics, it was like, yeah, this is not going to be over in 3 days. And now the market is pretty consensusly saying, yeah, this is not going to be over in 3 days. So I have an all-in clip we can watch before we bring on Mep to talk Iran war. I think we'll watch like 7-8 minutes. Let's see.
Go, come on. Let's go.
Go, Jason.
All right, the U.S. and Israel launched a joint attack on Iran on Saturday.
11 hours
Today is day 6 of Operation Epic Fury. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed within hours of the operation. 40 senior officials have also been killed. Death toll so far, about 1,000 people, according to reports. Tragically, 6 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers were killed following a drone strike on a base in Kuwait. A U.S. submarine sank an Iranian ship off the coast of Sri Lanka. This is the first torpedo kill since World War II. Why we're at war?
The difference between the daily stream and the weekly podcast is like, fuck, I feel like we've covered all of this for a long time. It's 11 hours old.
A bit of a moving target and a debate. First explanation from Rubio. He said Israel was going to attack and the U.S. had no choice but to participate. Later walked that back. Trump made it clear this is not a regime change effort, but we're doing this to stop terrorism and the development of ICBMs by, obviously, a pretty crazy group of individuals, and obviously nuclear bombs, which we blew up a couple weeks ago. Trump also mentioned the people of Iran should seize the moment, quote, and take their country back. Hegseth, who I believe is your boss, Emil, said, quote, this is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it. So here's an interesting poly market. Right now, U.S. forces enter Iran. This is boots on the ground.
If this happens, chat, wow, December 31st is 59%. If this happens, we are in a really tough spot. I mean, this just is, yeah. We oil to $1 million, and we are not getting out of this thing anytime soon.
The end of March.
I'm shocked at how high this is, actually. Wow.
40% chance. By the end of the year, 59% chance. So the idea that we're not going to have boots on the ground, the sharps on policy
By the way, Mep, who's coming on next, has bet no for boots on the ground. What cam do you use? Sony A7.
market believe we will. Will the Iranian regime fall by June 30th? 39% chance, according to Polymarket, and by the end of the year, 51% chance. So, Emil, I guess there are two questions people really want to know. I'll leave off why we're doing this. I think President Trump has been pretty clear now. But
has President Trump been pretty clear?
How long is this going to take is the one question. And are we going to have boots on the ground? And maybe what is success here?
This is the guy that responds directly to Pete Hegseth, by the way. Crazy he's doing podcasts.
I think the president talked about this is a weeks, not months kind of operation, and it's aimed at essentially disarming the regime or the country from in such a way that they can't supply Hezbollah, Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, all the kind of terror groups that get sponsored by weapons and money from Iran, not to mention the nuclear bit. And that's why you see from the reporting, they're going after the depots, we went after nuclear sites before. They're a prodigious drone maker. These like huge one-way attack drones that can go hundreds and hundreds of miles. Lots of ballistic missiles that are aimed at every country in the Middle East. As you've seen, they've attacked them. So I think that's one. In terms of boots on the ground, there's no scenario where we have some protracted boots on the ground Afghanistan, Iraq 2 like scenario.
Freeberg, your thoughts on this war? Obviously, a lot of people voted for Trump in order to have the peace dividend that he was in his first term, absolutely the peace president. And now here we are.
This is what most people's frustrations is, by the way. I saw this crazy clip of Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones having a therapy moment. And they basically were both saying, like, we voted for Trump to be the peace president. And what the fuck is this?
8 countries have been bombed, and we've had 2 leaders deposed, and one of those 2 have been killed. Your thoughts, Freeberg?
I think the president and the administration have probably the biggest meetings of the term coming up in China in April. My estimation, based on the conversations and the comments made by the president before he came into office and since he's been in office, is that finding a grand bargain or a deal with China is probably one of his top priorities. And if you think about the importance of that, is the U.S. going to wade into a giant global conflict led by a U.S.-China rift, or is the U.S. going to find some grand bargain? I think he would probably have a preference for the grand bargain. And that being the case, I think you could look at in the context of Maduro and the actions in Iran as creating maximal leverage going into those negotiations. The
reason for that, Freeberg?
90% of the oil that comes out of Iran goes to China. And there's been a long developing and developed relationship.
This is the first I've heard of this grand bargain, by the way, just for the record.
Between Maduro's government and China. And these are big economic drivers or support the economic driving in China. So creating leverage by having significant influence or damage or destruction to those supply chains for China gives the United States footing to be able to negotiate a better deal for America. I would imagine that the president's intention here isn't to go and decide who should be in charge and drive regime change and end in a multi-year conflict with Iran. But ultimately, if there's some transaction with China that gets everyone out of this and puts the U.S. on a strong footing where American businesses can sell into China, which is very challenging, as everyone knows today, and there's parity, regulatory parity, economic and trade parity between the U.S. and China. There's a point of view on what happens with Taiwan and availability of key technologies like semiconductors. I think it could be a win-win. And I think that a deal with China could be the crowning achievement of this administration, particularly.
Well, we're talking about a deal with China, but before we get anywhere, we have to figure out this Iran situation. And yeah, it does. I don't know. There is. Yeah, I agree, DNF. There's a lot of like Trump's just going to figure it out. And I guess we'll see. But the most important topic right now is how long is this going to go on in Iran and what the fuck is going to happen? And so I have in the waiting room right now of the stream, we have MEP. And I agree. I don't like the 4D chess argument. MEP is basically the most active geopolitical prediction market trader we could find. He correctly bet and I believe made $40,000 that the US/Israel would strike Iran on the date, February 28th. He's up like $250,000 since 2024 betting on the Middle East conflict, geopolitics. And he has markets open right now on boots on the ground. He has a market open on regime change, or a bet open on boots on the ground, a bet open on regime change, a bet open on nuclear deal, a bet open on Trump ending military operations, a bet on a European nation striking Iran, and I think can cover all of this and bring some new takes to the table that we haven't heard yet. So I'm going to get up real quick. When I come back, we're going to talk to Mep, and I think he's going to be our best sign-off as we get into the weekend on what to expect, what's coming up, and how this is going to play out. So BRB, when I'm back, we'll have Mep on, and let's fucking talk some geopolitics, baby. Let's go. Bro, this shoulder shot, this thing is screaming, bruh. That's what she said. All right, here we go. Let me focus. We have Mep coming on. I'm actually excited to talk to him. By the way, on Monday, I think we're gonna get PP Poo Poo on, and you might say, threadguy, what? Who the fuck is PP Poo Poo? And to you, I would say this is PP Poo Poo. Okay, this is PP Poo Poo. Okay, the GOAT. This is why Twitter is so awesome. It's like, yeah, the best oil trader in the world right now goes by PP Poo Poo on Twitter. Get used to it. Welcome to the new fucking regime. This is the world we live in. Okay, this is the fucking world we live in. So Trini controls the stock market, and PP Poo Poo is the oil lord. He's like the modern day Rockefeller. Is that right? Rockefeller's oil or no? Steel? Carnegie's steel. Rockefeller's oil, I think. All right, let's go. I don't think he's in. Where is he? Oh, he's joining. Okay, bet. Wait, who's oil then? Who's oil of Rockefeller? I have to wait one minute for map. All right, while we wait, then let me just show you this. Railroad. Rothschild's oil. Nice. Rockefeller is oil. Carnegie. I thought Carnegie was steel. Who is Rocky? Oil, bro. I'm the fuck? Chat. I told you I don't play with this Geopool stuff. I'm just a quick learner is what I am. But all right, on a serious note is hopefully Monday we get this guy on. He told me he's probably down. This is the kind of guest you just will not see on fucking Rogan or Lex Friedman or one of these like huge shows. But probably we'll get him on Monday. He called the whole fucking move. It's been pretty impressive. And so we'll see what happens there. But all right, we're getting Mep on right now, who, like I said, I gave him a proper intro, but has a lot of bets open. Ball nowhere in the Middle East. I'm excited. We had him on last time, and we were talking about conflict in Iran, and I was not really paying attention to it. And now it's fucking time to pay attention to it. So let's get it. Friday interview. Close out the week strong with an important one. Let's do it. Yo.
Yo, hi.
Mr. Mep, welcome back to the stream, my friend. A lot has happened since you were last here.
Yeah, for sure.
When you were on last, we were talking conflict in the Middle East, and it definitely was not number one priority on the stream, and it has since evolved into a geopolitical stream. And I think you're the single best guest we could have on. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but plus $40,000 on predicting the February 28th strike into Iran.
Yeah. Well, I had that position because I was hedging myself. I did make money, but I didn't make 40K net. No, sadly. It was a really stressful night, and I did a few misclick, and I was lacking sleep, so I didn't make 40K. I did profit from the attack.
Okay.
But I had other positions also that lost me money, so it's like, but I forgot to share and stuff because it was like.
Can you walk me through? Because I'm gonna be honest, you were here last time, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, talking about this Iran situation, and we just weren't on stream. I just was not covering it. And then you said you didn't make the full amount. You're hedging a little bit, but you still made the trade. You picked the date, you made the trade. Like, can you walk me through how you got to taking the escalations leading up to this strike like very seriously, and then why you placed positions on it?
Yeah. Also, one point to explain to your stream, like it's a really violent market in terms of like, because the way poly market is made, the markets are like attack before X date. So to profit on this, you have to predict the exact date.
Yes.
Like because it happened on the last day of the month. Like there's like a meme online that Trump did that to profit from poly market. Obviously, it's not true, but you get what I'm trying to say. So it's harder to, like, you have to be a real, like a genius or something to be able to, or have insider info to make serious money on an exact date like that. Like that's more of a fish bet normally, right? It's like betting the exact score NFL game. Like you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, the exact date is, I mean, fucking
Yeah, it
impossible.
would be the equivalence of like betting on the perfect NFL score and saying,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you would like me to explain to you how it happens, or?
Yeah, explain to me how you from
Okay.
your lens, how you saw it
Yeah,
happening.
well, in my mind, because at the time, we talked about this last time, but I went on another show and also discussed. But like, in my mind at the time, there was a American build-up, right? While at the same time, some negotiations. But like, Trump is not the guy that easily gonna offer, like, agree on a middle ground, or it's like more of a all or nothing kind of guy, like a big bully wrecking ball. Okay, so in my mind, it was always gonna be max 3 meetings. That was my assumption, because the first meeting between Israel and Iran would be like both sides like introduce themselves, like present their position. The second meeting would be like the ultimatum, like Trump saying, okay, we heard what you said last week, now we want this, and you better come back with what we want next time. And then the third meeting, Iran didn't come back with what the US wanted. So in my mind, it was always kind of clear to me that after the third meeting would be where things would blow up, like around the third meeting. That was I was expecting for that to happen. So I already had that on the back of my mind. And the week leading to the attack, Trump started to use like really strong terms regarding Iran. For example, Trump said a lot of things, but sometimes in let's say in 100 words, there's like a 3 or 4 words that are way more meaningful, means a lot. Like, I'm not sure he's like planning for it to be that way, but it's always like that with Trump. There's always like codes or whatever that he says that have a lot more meaning than people think.
Okay.
For example, he started to use the 32,000 deaths in Iran protest figure, which is the highest estimate possible. Like, because the estimate is between 10 and 30,000, and he started to say they killed 32,000 people in Iran, if not more. So he was already like preemptively trying to sell the war to the American public. To me, when I heard the 32,000 figure, I knew that was not the kind of thing you say if you're about to tackle. Like if you're about to like chicken out. And that is like you're basically like advertising the reasons for the war. And during the State of Union speech, he went with like a really extreme comment saying like Iran was building missiles to attack the United States. They killed Americans before. The 32,000 figure again, saying they're crazy. And he kept his message really short and about Iran that night. And a lot of people thought, oh, the message is short about Iran, means he's not like selling the public on the war. But I didn't say it that way at all. I thought he was keeping it short because he didn't want to warn Iran that he was about to attack. So some people say, there's no war. He didn't try to sell it. But to me, that was not what was happening. He did it on purpose. So he didn't want to warn the Iranians that he would be attacking soon. And so I was more and more worried. Like, by worried, I mean expecting something to happen soon. But like we're still dealing with like incomplete information and things can change. So it was not clear. So at the time, I think I would say like all the biggest traders on Polymarket were all holding no for end of the month. And then I'd said 2-3 days before the attack, the Prime Minister of Israel did a really like a pro-Jewish, pro-war speech, like this is a war for survival. We don't have a second chance, and then he went like radio silent for like 3 days. And I followed the Middle East news really hard, and it was extremely suspicious to me that the Prime Minister of Israel would go silent, like right at this time of the, almost like he had the go-ahead from Trump, and he didn't want to sabotage anything, and he was like just keeping quiet, waiting for the attack to happen. That was my read on the situation. So I started selling all my yes, all my no on the attack.
Yep.
And, I was starting to build a little bit of a yes position, but that was about 25th or 26th, and we were getting closer to the 28th. Because I wasn't sure it could be Friday, it could be Thursday, it could be Saturday, right? And so I started selling some of my yes, thinking maybe I'm wrong, maybe nothing gonna happen. And I think about 12, 13, 14 hours before the attack, I started seeing some really weird price movements on attack. As in like there might be insiders involved. For example, there were two different markets. You had the Israeli attack Iran market.
Yes.
And the US attack Iran market.
Yes.
And at some point in the night, Israel market was at 25 cents and US was at 20 cents, while US market was always leading before that. When I saw that, it was pretty clear to me that some like fish with insider info was like an open market buy, the open buying without setting limit orders, and was pumping the Israeli market. So that's when I bought more yes on the Israeli attack. And that's when a few like sharps on Polymarket messaged me, said, did you hear anything? Why are you buying at this terrible? And then it made me confused. I said, I don't know. I really don't like what I'm saying. Like it's I really track Middle East markets, and I don't like the price movements. I feel like something is happening. And then 6 hours later they attacked, and I was right.
That's crazy dialed that you like the Trump whisperer. My obvious follow up then is, what do you make of current Trump comments? He comes out and the war is a 15 on a scale of 10. He did the speech today. Like, what do you make of where we're at right now with Trump comments?
Well, before the war, the fear was that Iran would be too strong of an enemy, and they would kill like many American soldiers or destroy the Middle East or destroy Israel, because they talk a big game. And Kevin O'Reilly, he's one of the Fox News guys, one of Trump's friends, said that Trump doesn't believe Iran. He thinks they're bluffing. And I think it's linked to that in the sense that some of his advisors were telling him not to go to war with Iran, and he still picked the gamble. And so far, he's been right in the sense that Israel and the US are dominating the war. So I think he's really excited about that. Like there's been a few deaths from the American side and Israeli side, but like Iran was saying they would kill at least 500 soldiers, and they didn't. And it's only getting worse for them in terms of number of missiles they're launching every day. They're having less and less missiles.
I did see that.
Yeah, and I think the US people don't really underestimate how powerful the US military is now with like AI, with the modern weapons. Like even compared to like Iraq war, it's nothing now. Like it's a completely different game. And now you're seeing like the B-52 in the sky. That's a really bad sign for Iran, because when the B-52 shows up, that means like it's a complete like air dominance in terms of like they don't have air defense anymore, because you don't bring B-52s unless because B-52s are like really heavy and slow and easy target for air defense, so they wouldn't come over Iran sky unless it's safe to do so.
So, if you think the U.S. is dominating, you think this ends? You think like what is the timeline for this ending? You think?
I'm actually someone that, because like last year, the Israel-Iran war, I was one of the few that predicted that it would be a short war.
Really?
People were saying it was a big thing. They were going to invade Iran, and I was like, nah, I don't see it. I think Israel is just going to do like 2 weeks of bombing, and and Trump's going to force a ceasefire, which is exactly what happened. And people were offering me crazy odds on that on Poly Market last year. Anyway, but this year, my first instinct was we were going to see a repeat of that of last year, and I think that was the plan at first, like a short war. You destroy their missiles and nuclear reactors and maybe their navy, like they're saying. But because the U.S. had so much success in the first few days, and I think the true nature of Trump is coming out. He sees himself as like the president of war, and I think this conflict is going to be way longer than we thought. I think the first idea was to do a 2-3 days of like intensive bombing and end it on like Wednesday, Thursday. And now we're Friday and they're talking about weeks or months. Because I think what's happening is I know during the election, Trump was presenting himself as like the president of peace or whatever, but that was for winning the election. They knew what people wanted to hear at the time. Well, in his heart, I think Trump is not a president of peace at all. I think he's a president of war, probably one of the most pro-war presidents you can have. And I think he's betting his whole legacy on this. Because Trump is someone that cares about history or whatever. And I think he's at a point where he cannot tackle or like give up now. He's too committed to it. Like I know people are saying, "Oh, midterms," but let's say he calls this ceasefire tomorrow. The Democrats are gonna nag him for the next 8 months over this, like saying you did this for nothing. You talked a big game and you give up. So he cannot give up.
Wow.
To me, the only thing that's gonna happen is escalation. And I know, and if you read what Trump is saying, like Iran has to surrender, that's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen, right? No.
Muslims do not surrender, especially in a situation like this. The more you escalate, the more they're gonna escalate. At least try to escalate back. It's something that Trump has never learned, and I don't know why, but it is the way it is. So I think at the minimum, we're gonna see, I'd say, at least the end of the month. But I feel like the longer it gets, the more the US dominate, the more Trump is enjoying this. Like if you see the conference and everything, they have like a smile on their face when they talk about it. Like they're proud and happy. And I think there's a part of the MAGA crowd, maybe not the one that is like on Twitter 24/7, maybe the older crowd that is kind of like not enjoying this, but like you waking up their patriotism, like America #1 kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of working in his favor. But like it's a really volatile situation, so we'll see. But for now, I think they're doing well. So I don't think Trump has any plan to back down, no, sadly. And I think that's why you saw oil pump so much today. They finally, like the market has finally understood that we're in for this war is not ending at the end of the week or next week. And because the oil market or stocks are future looking. So they're not looking in the past. So they're trying to predict the future. And today was a big waking call for the market. And they realized that Trump was not going to tackle, or they don't expect Trump to tackle anytime soon, which is why you saw the big pump in prices, is my opinion.
One of the things I've struggled with as a relatively new situation monitor is how to figure out how to figure out what is actually real and what's fake. And one of the things I've struggled with is figuring out the goal of the admin here. Like, I feel like there's been 5, Rubio said something, Trump said something, Hegg said something. I feel like what the end goal is of this Iran situation has flipped 5 different times, at least from Twitter headlines.
I think that's a side effect of the way Trump does things. Like you are right with your assumption, like with your observation. I think that there's a lot of truth to what you're saying, which is why it's harder for me to answer your question where this is going.
Yeah.
And I read an interesting quote from a really ex-general in Political the other day, like 2 days ago, and he said it looks like they woke up on a Saturday morning and they decided they were going to start a war. Like
it does, right? A little bit.
Yeah. The U.S. military is not really ready. Yeah, there was some build up to the region, but nothing like Iraq 2003. It's like Trump is reverse engineering a war. He like decided to do a war, and then because if you look at like the allies, like the Europeans, they all saying like we wish we would have been warned that this was going to happen. Now, like we like what are like they've not been warned, and now they have to send their warship to the Middle East to intervene and help. Now they're talking about and I think the mixed signal you're getting and like is a symptom of that in the sense that even then they're not sure what they want to do. I think the initial idea was like a bombing campaign, like similar to last year, but like maybe 3 or 4 times more intensive to like destroy most of Iran military capabilities. But like I said, now they're doing so well, and Trump is really enjoying this, and he sees this as his like legacy moment.
Damn.
That he's trying. He might go for more.
Ugh.
And yeah.
So one of the fears, or I don't know fear, but signs of obvious escalation is going to be if the U.S. puts boots on the ground in Iran, and you've bet no on that.
Yeah, I mean, I bet no, but like for now it's a no, I'm pretty sure. But it could, like I said, because of what we just discussed, it could change any moment. But one of the reasons why it's no, they just don't have the infrastructure in place for an invasion right now. You don't just, they would, like, we will have a warning that an invasion is coming in the sense that they would have to bring the troops from the US or whatever. They have about 50K troops in the Middle East. And I think Israel has called up 70,000 reservists. But that would be a bloodbath. I mean, maybe not a bloodbath, but I don't see that as being an invasion force at all. They would need like few hundred thousands more and tanks and everything, the whole thing, right? So that they will have to bring that from the US, and that build-up has not been made. So you cannot just like wake up and say we invade tomorrow. I know Trump would love to be able to do that, but he understands there's a process, like, and we're not there yet. So the chance that they invade, at least we would see it coming by a mile.
This is off topic from what I want to ask you, but it's a fun like chat question. Is Trump trying the Zelensky method to get a third term?
Nah, I mean, I mean, who knows? It's Trump, right? At the end of the day, but I don't really think there's some big conspiracy or anything like some people try to claim. I think the real conspiracy is that Trump sees this as his like legacy moment. He wants to be remembered in history.
I kind of like this take. I think it's a decent take. Yeah.
And he failed with the Nobel Prize. He failed with the tariff. Like it's like go home or go big, right? And now he's like, okay, like everything there's no better opportunity. Like we all remember Bush. Obviously, we remember Bush for the wrong reasons, but we still remember him. But if he somehow succeed with Iran, Trump is going to go down as the man that changed the Middle East and I mean the geopolitical situation in the world.
Yeah. Okay, so you also have, let's see, you have no boots on the ground, no regime change.
Yeah. I don't. We forget, but like Iran is a really big country. They have 90 million people.
It's insane.
And they will not, like we were saying, they will not surrender. Like the threat don't work, anything don't work. And short of like a full-on invasion, I don't think the regime is gonna fall. I think the idea that like protests gonna be able to remove the regime or the regime's gonna collapse from himself is wishful thinking.
What is the fine print on that bet resolving?
Need a new regime, like for example, if there's a new leader, it wouldn't be enough. It needs to be announced as a new regime. Like what happened in Venezuela wouldn't be enough.
Got it.
It's the same government, right? Like yeah, I think that like like how Syria turned into like ruins or Libya or things. Well, Libya there was but like Syria, for example, they were able to be in ruins for like more than a decade. And the ruling government was still ruling something. So I can see a similar scenario happening in Iran, where the regime doesn't fall, but they're like emperor of dust, right? Like.
So you also have no on nuclear deal, which I'm assuming is in line with they're just not going to surrender at this point.
Yeah, I don't. The problem with nuclear deal, and that people misunderstood since the beginning, and I thought that we will never see a deal happening, is that what Iran was asking in return. Iran was okay to make a deal, but they wanted relief. And Trump was never going to sanction relief Iran. It made no sense. Like, he wouldn't sell like removing sanctions from Iran. That would be like helping the Iranian regime with money. So, and the same thing going to happen now. Iran is not going to, if the deal was like, you stop bombing us and we promise we're never going to do uranium again, or we're going to remove our missiles, maybe I could see that happening, but Iran is not going to have that. They would rather die than lose face. And that is
Damn.
something Trump doesn't seem to understand again. So, yeah, I don't think a nuclear deal. And now that Trump is like failing himself and his administration is really happy with the war,
Yeah, he is
he's
fucking
gonna,
feeling
he's
himself.
gonna, they're gonna make even more maximalist demands.
Damn.
In
This
the
is
sense that,
a little like adjacent to what you were posting about, what we've been talking about. But are you betting on oil during this? Are you trading oil?
no, I don't trade oil right now. I'm really focused on poly market, but I do have a lot of stocks and cryptocurrencies. But I'm more of a long-term holder.
You have
But
crypto
I
right
do
now.
have
What Bitcoin? What do you have?
well, I have Bitcoins and Ethereum. I was involved. I'm involved a lot in crypto.
Yeah, you
but
are ex-crypto guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but I sold most of at the top last year. I got lucky on that because it was not my first cycle, and I did a roller coaster ride like
Hell yeah.
a round trip a few times, and I promised myself that I would avoid doing that again. So
So I know
I
there is
sold
the oil market on Poly that has a good amount, has 10 million, almost $11 million in volume on what market
for
cap
sure.
will
The
crude
market is,
hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so what else do I have written down that you have open? You also no nuclear deal. You have Trump end military operations by March 31st.
yeah, that was a position that I took earlier because like a few days ago, but I was betting on a short and like 1 month is not short, but like
Yeah.
I was betting on a few weeks of fight
Not
bombing
crazy,
at
yeah.
most. But like the longer we get, the more I realize Trump is like thinking about this. I'm pretty sure he's changing his mind day by day.
You
Like
really
it
think
was,
so? He's like waking up and deciding how he feels.
well, he's influenced by what's happening on the battleground. But yes, I'm 100%. He's they're seeing like the situation, and he's
Wow.
making it up from there. Yes, and that's why you get conflicting
What
messages.
are like the long-term implications of this legacy war thesis being true? Like what are like the second, third, fourth tail effects of that?
In what sense?
I don't know. Like if you're going for legacy, then you don't really want this thing to end, right? You want to go grand, you want to go big. And
Well,
like
yeah, I think the end result of this is that he's not going to want to stop till he has
he
a
doesn't want
clear
to stop.
yeah, he won't want to stop till he has a clear victory, whatever that is. I don't think it's going to be a regime change. Probably going to be like the total destruction of their nuclear and missiles and navy.
And then we just go right to Cuba.
That's what he was saying yesterday. He's feeling himself.
Do you believe that?
He's done being the president of peace. He told the Europeans not long ago, because they didn't give him the Nobel Prize, he was done going to try to be the president of peace.
You think all this is because of the Nobel Prize?
I mean, it's a meme, but I don't know. Trump is a weird man. Like, I don't know, honestly, at this point. But I don't think it's all because of the Nobel Prize, but it's all related, yes, in a sense.
Like, if Trump wins the Nobel Prize, this Iran thing isn't happening right now?
That's a good question.
Oh my God.
Possible.
You really think that's possible? I know it's like a hypothetical. There's nobody to know, but you really think that's possible?
Of course.
Dude, that's brutal. That really is brutal. I mean, that is.
And also, I think it's important to listen to Trump messaging. Like, yeah, he's talking a big game, like saying like it's 15 on 10. But at the same time, he said what's important here is that we finish the job so that we don't have to attack again in 5 years, or that we have the same problem in 10 years from now. That tells you his mindset. And when he says things like this, he's repeating what Kushner whispers in his ear. Because if you listen to podcasts from Kushner last year or whatever, he was saying all those things. And Trump only listens to a few people. I think I was telling you that on the last show.
Yeah.
And Kushner is one of his vision of the Middle East. I kind of agree with him. I think Kushner is a really smart person.
Yeah.
And he understands that you will never have real peace in the Middle East as long as Iran is there starting shit up. And basically, so they see Iran as the obstacle to like all their big project in the Middle East.
You also have this unique bet on this is a Euro strike on Iran on March 31st. Was it like England,
Yeah,
France?
I was on yes. I thought it was coming. Now I'm starting to doubt it. I heard some stuff today. I think uh, my idea from the beginning was that if this conflict escalate, Euros would be drawn in if they want or not, because of Trump pressure for sure.
Yep.
And I think that was what was happening a few days ago, in the sense that they were all sending their warship and
Yep.
getting ready. I'm pretty sure Trump threatened like tariff or things behind the scene.
Mhm.
But now they have like I think after the initial shock, Euros have like teamed up or something, and they are all like using the same messaging. Like they all like teamed up against Trump to not get involved.
Yeah.
Like they all think it's a illegal war and we support, but like they all repeating the same thing, almost like they all got taken by surprise.
Yeah.
So they agreed to Trump the request, but now they like all like talked behind the scene and created a united front to oppose intervening. They're probably going to be defending the Gulf states and oil and the Strait with their ships, but and I know that they're going to pray that Trump doesn't force them to join the war. Because,
What is the alpha or the secret or the trick to understanding a Trump speech or Trump messaging? The important parts.
you know when you play poker at the table, okay, and you see someone bluffing,
Uh-huh.
and you feel the guy's bluffing. You cannot always explain the feeling, what, right? Like
It's
you
like
just
ball
know.
tingle.
It's like some people are born with that skill to be able to analyze others or something, and it's something hard to explain. Most of the time, it doesn't make sense with the rest of what you're saying, like one or two words. Like, how you
I
catch
see.
it,
Like outlier,
it
couple
doesn't make sense
words.
with the rest of the story. Like,
Yeah.
if you really like obsessing over a subject and you feel, wait, what? What do you mean by that? Like, off comment that means so much. Like,
Got
something
it.
like that.
I actually like that last part.
Mhm.
I asked you this last time and you didn't have an answer for me, but you
Yeah.
told me ask you it next time. And so we're at next time. Two of them actually I asked you didn't have an answer for. First one is geopolitical hot take.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a few, but the main one, I think, because your audience is mostly American, I think. I know a lot of people complain about America and this and that, but I think America is the best country in the world and the biggest force for good. And
The
people
biggest force
shouldn't
for
be
good.
yeah, and people shouldn't be complaining as much, and you don't know how lucky you have it. As a
Hon-
Canadian, as a French person, as a person coming from immigrant parents, that's my hot take.
Honestly, it's a good take. I feel like
I travel a lot to the US, and you have no idea how lucky you guys have it. Trust me. And I
so-
understand if you need to complain in life and always wanting more. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's
Uh-huh.
by far the best country in the world, and the strongest force for good.
This is a sick take. We're getting blackpilled a lot. Like we're watching Professor Jang on stream. We're watching all this Death to America
Yeah,
content.
those people are like full on. Nah, don't listen to what they're
You think
saying.
it's retarded?
You know, those people are talking while the real people that understand are like making money on poly market. You know, anyone can call themselves. One of the reason I decided to go on poly market, because I'm not really a gambling person. I mean, I do crypto and stocks, but like, is that I kept hearing those so-called self-proclaimed experts saying so much bullshit, and like I'm like, and seeing so many people agree with them, and then made me realize like, wait, if that's like the normal thinking, then it must be like, and then I realized like poly market is a way to finally like correct the situation.
You can bet on what you think is
so
right.
frustrated by what the expert were going on the media and saying, and it was so annoying. And I knew it was complete nonsense, and the reporter or the journalists were agreeing with them, and no one was there to like counterbalance or basically just say the truth. And yeah, and this guy is one of those people, like just saying a lot of things with a lot of words, fancy words, thinking he knows a lot, but like it's nothing. Trust me, nonsense. Most of those people they reverse engineer. They want to believe something, and
They figure out how they can make themselves
exactly
believe it.
justify it, because you know the world is a big place. So stories, many things. So they look at they pick and choose. Basically, it's like cognitive bias, it's called.
Huh?
Exactly. So that's what they do. They only present the facts the way to confirm their bias.
Okay, then a
And
follow. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm done.
I thought it was a sick, honestly, W hot take, bro. Here's a follow up. The second thing I asked you is relevant to this as well. What is the best geopolitical trade you've ever seen on Polymarket? Yours or somebody else's?
Oh yeah, it happened just recently, and I'm still shocked by it. There's this big user. He's a big whale with like $1 million in profit now. His name is Betwick. I think most people on Polymarket would know him.
Okay.
I used to laugh at him because he was making most of his money from like box office prediction and for the past 2 months he's been betting really heavily on the Middle East because it's all over the news, and he was like one of the biggest no holder for any attack for on Iran, and only like the days before he switched all his big profit position to yes, and with size, like he bet like 50K on the 28th, and the attack happened on the 28th. And this guy has never like bragged or insulted anyone or argued with anyone. He's like low riding, like, so yeah, that's the thickest trade I've seen. Like going from like such a big no position and switching to size with size, switching to yes with like determination and size is respect. Yeah, really like wow.
Wow. What's the P&L on 50K of exact date?
Is P&L?
Yeah, on that trade.
I'm not sure, but I think he made 50K. I think probably that. This guy's printing. He did really well. Like it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
The exact date stuff is so crazy to me. It's like a holy fuck. You get that right? It's crazy.
Yeah. And what I find sick is he's not bragging or like insulting anyone, or he's like just like he's like on. I don't know if you've been on a Polymarket Discord, but most people are quite unhinged and stressed.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Oh, yeah, makes sense.
We're a little bit crazy there, so don't come. But like this guy has never been insulting anyone, and many people keep insulting him and stuff, and he never replies. So yeah, I respect that.
Maybe we'll get him on stream.
Yeah, maybe.
One of the last things I want to ask you is like, okay, as a geopolitical expert of 5 days, one of the hardest things I've realized to navigate this scene is like, okay, is you're basically getting thrown headlines like, okay, here's 1,000 headlines. Figure out which of them are real and which are fake. Almost all of them are fake. And then once you figure out what's real, figure out which of them are important versus not important, which is extremely difficult to do. Because it isn't like, you know, in the age of Twitter, a lot of the information is coming from second, third-hand sources. And so it isn't like you could just turn noties on for one news outlet, right? It's just like a very complicated process. And so I'm sure you don't want to spoil your whole process here, but how are you monitoring the situation, for a lack of a better phrase? Like, how are you actually keeping up with the signal and cutting out the noise? Because it's hard, man.
That's a really good question, but at the same time, it's like I could spend all day explaining this.
Of course.
Or the people that like thinking about how to make money on Middle East, they find that interesting, or geopolitics in general, or even in Polymarket in general. I'm actually using a site called Polywire. It's owned by my friend. It's like a Bloomberg terminal, but way cheaper, but it's similar. I'll post it on my Twitter later.
Please. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Polywire.
So that gives you signal. Yeah, Polywire. It's pretty new, but my friend is like a computer nerd. Like someone I met from Polymarket is really smart. And he's giving me a share of the company at the same time because he likes me.
Okay,
so
nice.
I'm happy to promote it for him. And but yeah, so I use that as my main signal. Like you get all the alert of every like you can like it's like Bloomberg terminal for people that know. But anyways, that's the main thing that I use to get my news. But to filter the real from the bullshit is extremely hard to do. And even me, sometimes, like I'm someone that are obsessed over this subject, and even sometimes I make the mistake by like a bad trade because I got played. Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. It's really hard, man, because it's a really emotional subject where people have a lot of bias towards one side or the other, and trying to analyze every information without and removing all the bias is almost something impossible to do for the human brain. So yeah, it takes a lot of experience and if you, I'd say the first thing is leaving your ego out of the door and studying the subject and trying to understand everyone's point of view, everyone's purpose, everyone motivation. Yeah, I think people motivation behind the news, behind the action of someone is extremely important here. So to understand the truth from the bullshit. Yeah.
I'm not trading these Middle East. Like I'm more so following for stream content than and coverage than like specific markets. So I'm not as time sensitive. And so I've just been listening to like, okay, find the most pro-America and anti-America news outlets you can and listen to both cover the same topic. And the answer probably lies somewhere in between. And I've actually found some success with that. But the problem is I'm not really going for speed. And so if you're going for speed as well, right, like a headline will shift a market very significantly instantly is dude, it's difficult. I have noties on for
yeah, that's where if you're talking about like news trade, like let's say like a swing trader, that there's a lot of people that do that, and that's where Polywire comes in. A really good app to have.
Rip us a discount code at some point.
Yeah, for sure. There's gonna be something. No, yeah, and also there's gonna be he's asking me to do a Discord with him, like a premium subscription where I answer question like Middle East people question. I'll probably do something like that, like a private group too, a small group. I'll post everything on my Twitter later, and I'll give you some sort of discount code because it's kind of new, but we're gonna do a promotion first, and I'll talk to you after this.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'll sign up and we'll see what I think, and if
it's a good
show
idea.
it to the stream if it's good because we're trying to monitor. Go ahead.
No, it's a monthly subscription service, and since we're only starting, it's going to be discounted in the first month. And since you like a promo code, I'll give you one so you can promote the.
Yeah, cool.
I'll keep you posted.
You've given us some good alpha, multiple streams now, so I'll fucking use your.
Thanks, man. But I'm interested. It's a subject I enjoy talking about first. Polymarket is only secondary for me. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be an asshole, but the money is good. But like, I've done really well with crypto and other stuff. So I do this more, like I was telling you, like so tired of listening to the so-called not being able to answer to them till I found Polymarket.
Well, dude, it's been impressive to follow your account, and it's impressive. Like it's pretty crazy how fast things evolved since you first came on to where we are here. So I'm sure part 3 will be a electric one as well. Like, I don't know, do you want to give us any sign off on what to look for? I know we covered individual stuff, but what to look for, where you think this is going to go, escalation or de-escalation signs. Like, I don't know, however you want to wrap.
I think like now, like the world is falling, oil is up so much, stocks crashing. I think it's gonna, how like there's the conflict in Ukraine or the conflict in Syria and just another news now. Basically, people care less about it than the weather tomorrow. I think we're gonna trend towards that in the sense that the oil is gonna stabilize. Now I think oil is front running the worst in terms like of Iraq 2.0, and I think next week it's gonna stabilize. So it's probably a good time to buy the fear if some people think like that, like long-term holders. Now, let me see the crypto prices. 1 second.
Not good. Don't look.
68K. Yeah, maybe crypto was already not doing that. I mean, 68K from a few years ago is still good, but like, yeah, I think it's gonna hover around those prices for a while. So, but I think in terms of oil, I think we pretty much like pricing in max pain right now. I don't see that but I know Trump has a lot of tricks.
It definitely is pricing in max pain for oil right now.
Yeah, so
or close.
Things are for people that have maybe lost money in stocks or crypto, like or oil. I don't know, or maybe made money. But that message is more for people that are losing money. Things always look worse than they really are. So don't give up. Don't sell your losing position if you're a long-term holder. It's gonna go back up. Market is always overreacting. Now it's most of the time people are like over excited or so it overshoot, and now we're on the opposite side of this. The market is in like panicking, but it's overreacting. And I think Trump is he's a crazy man, but he's also a powerful man and he cares about the economy and things like this. And they were talking about like opening Russian oil to the world and things like this.
Yep.
And like just today was talking to the U.S. military. No. Trump is not a traditional president. He does things his own way, but in the end, it kind of worked out somehow. Like he's like a wrecking ball that breaks everything and like rebuild in his own way. So if you have like long-term position and you're panicking, do not sell. I mean, it's not a financial advice or whatever, but don't sue me. But personally, I'm not selling. I would looking at to add more. So yeah, I understand it's a bad day and bad week and everything looks doomed, but no. And I think the U.S. military know what they're doing in the sense that they're really advanced, really powerful, and sooner or later they're gonna find a fix to for the strain, the oil flow, and the commerce.
Fucking hope.
Yeah. So I think if you're a long-term holder and panicking, do not sell. Is the one advice I can say. And actually, I would think about buying more. The more fearful you are, the better time it is to buy. Most of the time.
Map, you're the man, dude. I'm very sure we'll do a part 3 at some point.
I'm enjoying it. You're a nice guy too, and you seem like someone that like to learn. So I love this.
I've become geopolitical
also,
expert. Experts is generous,
sure,
but monitors over the last 5 days. I'm a crypto guy turned geopol guy.
Well, crypto is related to geopolitics.
Yeah, it
so
is. Hell yeah, it
It
is.
used to be one of the things I was trading before, to predict geopolitics. But anyway, yeah.
Map, you're the
Okay.
man, dude. Good luck with it. We will be following your account very closely. So good luck with everything. And
Don't follow it too close, though.
I'm sure we'll talk offline, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Have a go, my man. Peace. It's crazy we had that guy on 3 weeks ago and he's talking about Iran, and we're like, I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. And then now it's like he's in the middle of fucking predicting this thing very well. The scary take is like the Trump legacy play, bro. It's like a scary thought. The implications of that are scary. Like, fuck, if that's what this is, it's like we're just not gonna stop. I don't know what happens from there. Oil just up only forever. Chat. I think all things considered, we've done a good job monitoring the sitch. Things definitely don't look great. And the market did not want to hold risk into the weekend. I don't blame the market for not wanting to hold risk into the weekend. But Monday Open is going to be absolutely electric. You can't miss Monday Open after whatever happens this weekend. And I'm going to stream Monday Open. I am going to stream Monday Open, Market Open at 9:30 a.m., maybe a little bit earlier, 9:15. I'm going to stream Market Open at 9:15, and I'm going to do the normal stream at normal time. It's going to be a movie. So, look, chat, honestly, we came a long way this week. I'm going to be completely honest. I started the week on Monday. I knew absolutely nothing about Iran and the war. It's now Friday, and I know a little bit more. I know a little bit more. Not much, but I know a little bit more. And I think, look, I just think we're very well positioned to trade this stuff, because the thing about Trump admin and Trump and the economy we're in right now is it just fucking whipsaws both directions. Things happen fast. Things move fast. Things rotate fast. Sentiment changes over fucking night. So whatever, it's crazy. It's not even been a week. Monday was the first day we talked about this. Tuesday, we watched the Jang stream. Yesterday, we did Market Open. I got my fucking PRP in. And today, by the way, I'm suffering right now. I'm going to get off in a second. But I think, dude, I just think we're fucking on this as much as anyone. Dude, we're on this as much as anyone. And you also have to take into account on Monday, I knew nothing. And Friday, I know a little bit more. And so 2 weeks into this, 3 weeks into this, 4 weeks into this, and then whatever happens next, we're just like so well set up to be a dominant force in understanding what's happening. Like, we just are, bro. We just are. This chat is becoming a legitimate force because we're crowdsourcing info. We're learning shit on the fly. We're putting in relevant links. Like, bro, we're so ahead of every news channel. When Anthropic plus DOW happened, we were like so early to that. We were just like really on it, bro. We were really on it. And so this chat is becoming a fucking force. You people are becoming an absolute force. Homework this weekend is for you and me is to go lock in on implications of oil prices and the levers that Trump admin has to pull. That's what I think we should do this weekend. Watch the All In podcast, oil implications, what levers admin has to pull, and whatever happens this weekend, let's monitor. The pit will be active as always. Bro, the pit is fucking lit. By the way, I'm active in there. I'm more active in there than all my chats. Today's my 12th stream of watching, and for real, it's been the best. Congrats, bro. Welcome. The pit has been lit, bro. I'm active in there. Just got open claw set up. Congrats, bro. Watch what podcast to all in. Cal Lloyd, thanks for the gifted, brother. I'll give you all one invite to the pit real quick while we're at it. Fuck it. I'm always in the X lives. Wanted to come and say loves these streams, man. Happy you've been grinding these. Hey, welcome, brother. Welcome. Get out the X live and put my Twitch numbers, bro. I'd be self-conscious they're low. Fuck the X live. If you're watching the X, I love you all, but watch that shit here. There's a pit invite if you want it. It's where I'm the most active. If you want to like reach me, it's probably easier to reach me there than Twitter at this point. I type in there all day. A little schizo, it's a little nuts. But yeah, chat, dude, I feel like this stream chat is becoming a fucking force. It's becoming a force. And there's this like group knowledge effect happening where y'all are getting smart. I'm getting smart. The topics we're covering are rapidly getting more intense, which forces us to get smarter, bro, it just gets us fucking dialed. And so whatever happens this weekend, whatever happens on Monday, we're just going to cover it. I'm going to do my absolute best to cover it better than anyone else in the world. And yeah, we're going to be there. So I fucking love you guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm down bad right now. I have a headache. I haven't drank water. I need to eat. And my arm is fucking about to... I wasn't going to stream today. But I was like, dude, let's do the MEP interview. Let's bring some like clarity on what we think is happening in the Middle East. And let's just like round up. We had a fucking good week. Let's round out the week. So I am in excruciating pain. I'm going to rug the stream. I'm going to go sit down. I just fucking DoorDash to Switch. I'm going to play the new Pokemon game all day. I'm going to watch a movie. And I'm going to sleep a lot. And I'm going to get active this weekend. I heard alcohol is good for the shoulder. So maybe I'm going to fucking rip. And I hope you all appreciated the stream. Look, I don't think it was my finest work. But we showed up and we got through what we had to get through. That's the thing, is like, we got through what we got to get through. There's some things in life that are more important than your health. Okay? And the thing that's more important than your health is the fucking market, baby. I love you. Commit to the flow, submit to the flow, give it all to the flow. I love you. I'll see you in the pit. Have a great weekend. You had some locked in takes. I love you. Well, Spicy Meatball, you're my dog. I love you. Have a good one. Peace.